Hi guys, and welcome to Older Tanks Review. I'm Buddy 1927, and today we are reviewing the T28, which is a Tier 8 tank destroyer in the American line. So this is not a bad tank. I kind of enjoy playing it now, and I will recommend you'll see a night and day going from the stock gun to the Tier 10 gun. It actually does perform a lot better. Let's take a look at the tech tree and show you how we get there. Of course, you start off with the T1 to the T18 to the T82 to the T40 to the Wolverine to the Jackson to the T25 AT to the T28, and the rest of this will take you down to the T95, which is the Tier 9, and to the T110 E3. And I know a lot of you are going to ask, yes, I did not hack the game. Yes, I did not research Tier 7 T25 AT. You are right. What I did is I went ahead and went down this line in the American tank destroyer and got the E4. And went back to the T28 prototype and just researched down to the T28. So I did not have to bother researching this tank. One of the advantages of doing that way is because I went this way initially and got my Tier 10 here. When I got to the T28, and this is how it comes, I had everything researched except for the tracks. I just had to research the tracks, and then I'm putting all my experience now into the T95. But I had all these guns, and I will tell you right now, if you're going through the T25 AT and have not researched the prototype, you're going to have to research all this. The first thing you need to research is the tracks on this thing, because you cannot add any of these two guns, until you have the tracks researched. Luckily, everything was researched for me except for the tracks, and the tracks were actually pretty heavy. It was 14,600 research points to go ahead and get it. Excuse me, guys. So that was one of the. It takes a while to get through there, especially with the stock gun. But once you get the tracks there and you get this top gun on here, you see a big difference. Yes, you do have a choice of 3. I used the Tier 10 gun on this tank, but it's up to you whether or not. I'm not telling you have to use the Tier 10. I'm not telling you should not use the Tier 10. It's up to you. It's up to your playstyle. But we'll go over that a little bit later. This is not a bad tank. I kind of enjoy it. Once you realize the weaknesses of this tank and how to protect this tank is actually a pretty good tank to have. Let's go over the specs on this thing. Let me blow them up for you. There we go. It does have 1,150 hit points, which is actually pretty good for a Tier 8. It does have 514 horsepower. This is the fastest tank in the game at 18 kilometers per hour. No, it's not. It's one of the slowest tanks in the games at 18 kilometers per hour. Traverse speed on this is 20 degrees per second. Currently, I don't have my driver doing it, and I just realized that, so I'm actually going to be switching him from camouflage to clutch braking, which will help it turn a lot quicker. You need that. This is a slow tank. Now, it does have good armor in the front at 254 millimeters of armor up front, but the sides and the rears are bad at 50 millimeters each. We'll go over the gun a little bit later. But I do want to show you this one right here. The load time on this gun is 7.68 seconds. So that's not bad considering the size of the gun. So that's actually pretty good. Gun traverse speed is 26 degrees per second. Base view range on this is 370. The base signal range on this is 745. And you can see the other ones there. You can figure that stuff out for yourself. So that's the specs of this thing. Let's talk about this armor we have. We do have 254 millimeters of armor up front, and it's also angled a little bit and rounded a little bit. So this is going to actually help you protect your tank a little bit. I always recommend with tanks like this, especially the American line, if you can, you're facing your facing your enemy, try to be at 30-degree angle. You get more of a ricochets out of that. So I do recommend that. Watch your cupolas here. These are some of the weak spots on this thing. Now, on the sides, armor's basically straight up and down except for right here. But they're going to be aiming down here, so you only got 50 millimeters of armor, so protect yourself. On the rear, you only got 50 millimeters of armor, so protect yourself. And as you can see up top, now, the FV304, the British arty, here you might be able to bounce some of the shots because of the armor. But this, you definitely want to be already safe with this tank. I was actually in my M12. I had a T28 prototype here who was at full health. I aimed and actually landed a shot right here on him and took him out in one shot. So this tank is not arty friendly. You want to try to protect this as much as possible. Now on this tank, as I've played, I've actually had a FV304 hit me here, and both of them bounced off of me. So I kind of lucked out. But you still want to be already, with all tanks, you want to be already safe, especially this tank, because if you're an arty, this is where you want to aim for this tank right here. You can almost one shot this tank with one of your shells. So, but overall, this is not a bad tank. You can brawl with this thing, but remember, you gotta protect your rear and your sides. So if you're brawling with somebody head on, if he gets to your side, you're dead. And you gotta be able to keep him to your front, or at least keep your sides protected as much as possible. The way I recommend playing this tank is actually from a distance. That's why I got binocs on here. And let's go over the mods I do carry. I do carry the vents on this thing. I do carry the gun rammer on this thing. And I carry binocs on this thing. Now, you can choose differently. Oops, let me just move this stuff over to here. I want to put it on the wrong side. You can choose something differently than binocs on here, and it's up to you what you want to do. These are basically your choices that you have. If you don't like binocs, you can put camouflage net, which will help increase your camouflage rating, but I'd rather have my view range a little bit more, so I can get my tank and shoot before I see. You could add that, and that adds 25%. This increases, or this reduces your chances of the vehicle being detected with camouflage net. Coated optics. This is a front-mounted gun. I'm really not going to be shooting and moving at the same time. So coated optics only gives me a 10% view range. I'd be better off with the binocs. The enhanced gun lane drive. It's up to you. You got a 2.1 second aiming time currently on this tank, and the reload on this is actually 7.59 second reload. Do the math. I can be sighted in before I get reloaded, so save the money. Binocs would be better off. Again, this is more stationary than a moving vehicle. Unless I might use this as a rammer, and it will give me won't give me anything. I'm not going to be darting across fields, bouncing up and down and all that, because I'm only going 18 kilometers per hour. CO2, this, I've heard people say good things and bad things about it. It depends on the tank. If it catches on fire a lot, you might be better off with the CO2. The heavy spall liner, I'm not a big fan with it because it does add another 1,000 weights 1,000 kilograms to your tank by putting it on, which increases your load, which decreases your speed. This thing moves slow enough. Really don't want to do it, even though it does give you a 30% bonus to your armor and give you a 30% bonus to your crew's protection of your crew from injuries. Pros and cons. It's up to you whether what you want to do. Gun rammer, of course, gives you that 10% loading speed. Oh, it reduces your loading speed by 10%. I recommend it on any heavy vehicle. Toolkit, and that's another pro and con. It gives you a 25% boost to your repairs. So it's up to you. Some people like using it on heavy tanks. You can use it on this tank destroyer if you get tracked. It will help your repairs on your track a lot quicker. Ammo rack, give you a 50% boost to your durability of your ammo rack. Up to you. And of course, fence gives you 5% to your speed. So I do recommend that you at least put on the fence and the gun rammer. This one here is actually your option. Actually, all three of them are your options. So do what you want. Put the mods that you like. Those are the mods I use, and you understand why I use them. But if you have something different and your play style is different from mine, I'm not right. You're not right. It's up to you. There's different play styles in this game, and it's up to the person's play style is what kind of equipment and what kind of guns that you're going to be able to put on here. Because if you take a look, oops, I'm sorry, hit the wrong gun. If you compare, let's compare all three guns. That's the 110. I did it again. Okay. Compare all three guns. This is your base gun, the 90mm. You have the 105 and you have the 120. And again, I recommend the tier 10 gun because of the damage and all that. It's about a second. Fires about one more round more than. No, I'm sorry. Rate of fire slows as the tank goes up. 8.7 seconds, but look at the damage isn't that good. The 105 is 7.7 seconds. Damage is not bad. Aim time is better on this. The 120, 6.5. So you fire one more round with a 105 than you do with a 120, but I'll do more damage. So yeah, I'll go with that gun. The gun is your choice. I recommend the tier 10 gun compared to either one of those tier 8 guns overall. So that's your choice. And guys, remember, there are different play styles in this game. People play this game totally different from one person to the other sometimes. We have over 1 million players on this thing, so there could be 1 million combinations on how to play any one of these things. Not one way is right and one way is wrong. It's up to your play style. So remember that. So I do have this tank in action. I will see you all on the other side. Hi guys, and welcome to World of Tanks Replays. I'm Buddy1927, and today I'm in my T28 Tier 8 tank destroyer in the American line. The map we are on is Redshire, and this is actually a Tier 10 battle that we're in, and this is actually the first time I've had this tank fully equipped. And it does have the tier 10 gun on it, the top tracks and everything. So we're going to see how this tank does fully loaded overall. So we're going to move things up a little bit, or speed things up a little bit. Go back to normal speed here. This is not a fast moving tank, and I do have good armor in the front on this, but terrible armor on the side, so I want to try to keep the sides protected as much as possible. And I'm also going to try to get into a spot where I can get some good cover and get some good angles. And this tank is so heavy, it can't go the way I normally would go on other tanks. So you got to kind of, as you can see, I'm having a hard time trying to just get up this little slope. I should have went a little bit to my left, because this tank is already weighed down so much, the tracks can barely do any damage on it. Okay. Missed the WT E100, but he's stupid enough to come back up. Hit him. Did some good damage to him on the front.
That one didn't go through.
And I bounced him, shooting him, and he's taken out. As you can see, this is not a very maneuverable tank. And it does have a front-loaded gun, but nah, I won't be able. He's down below the ridge. But sometimes playing a tank destroyer, you got to learn patience. Okay, he's been taken out. I know there's one tank down the one line that was spotted, but now is there he is. You got the E50. I'm kind of move up. I'm going to try to get into the E56 area and get a little bit higher ground so I can shoot a little bit more. There's the E50. This is one of the things you definitely want to watch out for on this tank. I took a blind shot. I know he's probably down behind that ridge, but now I got the leopard in front of me. Let me see if I can get a shot on that E50. I hit the E50. Said hello to him, and he's taken out. I don't have a target on that T57, and what I'm going to try to do is get up here a little bit higher so I have a better angle. I got an IS-3 up top there and an ISU-152 up there. Or actually, he's a little bit further back. I'm kind of using this ridge to hide myself a little bit. Do have a T57 down there. Let's see if I can get an angle on him. And he's dead, so I don't really have to worry about that angle no more. The score is 9-3 right now, and we're actually winning this. And like I said, this is a slow moving tank, and I'm trying to get into position a little bit more. Where there's the leopard.
Penetration.
Hit him, and somebody else took him out. But I did hit him on the move for 357. I got the IS-3 up top there. Now this thing does move when it goes downhill. It's just going up that hill. One thing you definitely want to be leery of, and of course this is on all. There's a T28 prototype. Let's see if I can get an angle on him. Somebody took him out. We got another T28 in front of us and an E4.
Enemy armor is damaged.
Hit the E4. And he's taken out. And that is game, guys. So that was definitely a victory overall. You can see now this was a tier 10 battle I was in, but I actually did halfway decent on it. It is a slow moving tank, and I try to protect myself as much as possible. So it's not too bad. If I remember correctly, in that battle I shot a total of 7 times with five hits for 71% hit ratio, so it's not too bad. It was not a tier times. It was not a 2 times rating game or anything like that, and it was the first time I actually went out with the top gun, top tracks, everything fully decked out on that gun. So it's actually a pretty good tank. You just gotta learn how to play a little bit. You gotta hang back a little bit and try to figure out which way the enemy's going to come, so you can actually surprise them. I did play this tank on Stalingrad, and I went up the one line, the beachhead, got past the bunker on the beach, then came back up behind and surprised. This is back when I had the tier 8, the stock gun on this, and actually came up behind 3 tanks and surprised the hell out of them because I never got spotted. None of the lights went down the one line, and I actually maneuvered myself right up behind a T30 and a T34, and I was shooting both of them in the butt, and they were trying to figure out where the hell did I come from. But we did win the game. I did get finally taken out once they figured out what was going on. But sometimes if you can hide this tank with the with your surroundings, and if I would have had the tier 10 gun then, I probably would have done a lot more damage. I ended up doing 1,600 damage in that game. This game I did about 1,800 damage. It wasn't much in damage, but I did damage 4 tanks. But if you can hide this tank in the surroundings, and like in Stalingrad, if you get, like I did, go up the one line down the beachhead and come up behind and surprise the hell out of these guys. This is not a fast moving tank, I'll tell you that right now, but if you can hide this, but it is a deadly tank. If you can hide the tank, it will be pretty good. So if you like this video, please like us on YouTube. If you have any comments, leave your comments down below on my YouTube page. I'll try to answer them to the best of my ability. There is one question I'm being asked a lot, and I will I'll go ahead and start putting it into in my comment area. I use Otis Modem for my mod pack, Otis Modem mod pack, and there's several mods that you can select from. The main one I use for my guns is Melty Math, which is the blue ones and all that. The blue gun sight, and does a lot. It allows you a lot of information when you're playing, and there's several versions that you can get, so check it out. I'll leave a link down below. As a matter of fact, I'll even set up a link on my website, which is at buddy1927.com, so check out my website. Now, if you haven't done yet, subscribe to my channel. This way you know when the latest videos that I do come out. I'd like to thank you again for watching this video, and do me a favor, save some tanks on the battlefield for me. You all have a good day.